welcome back. It's been a little while since we've done a video. Just decided that it's time to change things up again, so a bit of a surprise in this episode. Not so much a travel one. We've been home for a little while now. I'm actually just on the way to the rubbish dump now to get rid of some stuff, but going to change things up a little bit. We're thinking a lot about the truck. Actually it started with thinking about the caravan. I'd like to upgrade the caravan. It's been let's go with the speed hump here. It's been a few years I had the caravan for. I might upgrade it, but look, I'd have to upgrade my Prado. The Prado can tow 2.5 ton. You've got about a 2.5 ton caravan. If we went up to sort of 3.5 ton or whatever, we need a bigger van. So looking at a few options. We're looking at the new Prado and stuff like that. So best to do the truck first, maybe do the caravan in a year's time, so we don't need to throw too much money at it and what have you. So anyway, in this episode, you're going to find the, I think a first review of the car I've chosen. Now, I'll go through why I've chosen what I've chosen and what other options I was looking at. And let's just have a look, see what you think. So, what was my criteria? Well, I was really open to change. I've been a Toyota man all my life. I've had Hiluxes and Surfs and the Prado now, and had that Prado, I think it's Prado for 8 years, I think, and it's been freaking awesome. I can't tell you how good this truck's been and where it's taken us and what we've done. And I've given it a hard life, to be fair, but it's been really well looked after. So anything that happens or preventative stuff, it's all been done. This thing's been serviced to like you wouldn't believe. So that's all good. But what am I going to do? There's a new Prado coming out. There's the Fords. There's Hyundais. All kinds. Look, I'm open to look at anything. The main criteria that I want is it's got to tow 3.5 ton. I mean, that's my main reason for moving away from this vehicle. And I think it's got a 6-cylinder. It just doesn't cut it for me towing a big caravan with a 4-cylinder car. It doesn't matter how many turbos you throw in there. It's physics, so it's just working harder. So I'm prepared to go, 6 cylinders seems to be the way. Nobody's really putting V8s out these days. The gas guzzlers anyway, or modern ones aren't so bad. But so I'm probably looking 6-cylinder, 3.5 ton towing. That's probably my big criteria. I want something that can go off road. It's got a bit of a good history going off road. I want to modernise a bit. That's something I'd like to do. So those are probably my main ticks that I'm looking for, and I'll just see what I come up with from there, really. I'm a bit of a research Nazi, so I'll be all over it in terms of this and that and what I can do. Look, cost is the thing too. I don't have $1 million. I can't go out and buy myself, 130,000 cruiser and then throw another 20 grand and upgrades at it. I just can't do that. I'm a bit of a realistic person, I suppose. But I want something that can tow my caravan and take me places in comfort, so but take me some pretty wild places if I need to. So I would say those needs are pretty average needs for a lot of people who are caravanning, who really want to get off the big track. So stay tuned, see what I come up with, I'll keep you in the loop. This episode's really all about that upgrade. Okay, I've made the big decision, bought the new car, had the Prado, always been a Toyota man all my life. You'd never change me really, bit of a badge guy. Great cars. Look, in one of our episodes posted below, we did have our Prado 1KD engine blow up and get us a bit stranded there for a few months. That was a known Toyota fault. Other than that, that car's been faultless. It's taken us some crazy places. But in looking at it, doing a bit of research, and the timing, there's new Fords coming out. There's the new Prados coming out. At the time I bought this, I hadn't seen the new Prado. Did as much research as I could, weights and all that, towing capability. Went right into it, and looked at the Ford option as well. Didn't see many other options, to be honest. Anyway, I ended up doing a whole lot of research, and I took a Ford Platinum for a drive from a dealer. Actually, I drove it into a drain just to try it out, try the four-wheel drive stuff out, and it pulled out. I couldn't believe it. So obviously, they're a lot more electronic and what have you. a lot more modern tech than the Toyotas are. So I was a bit dubious about that tech, but I was very impressed, to be honest, and it was a good drive. So I went back into the dealer shop and actually went to put down a deposit, and it turns out there was a new Ford Everest out that had just come out. It was pretty much a Ford Everest Sport with a whole lot of extra four-wheel drive goodies. So this is what I bought. Check this out.
Yep. Pull her off.
There we go.
Woohoo. Hope the mirrors don't come off.
Don't pull the paint off the car. There she is. Woohoo!
It's the wrong colour.
Oh no.
It's a Everest Tremor, and it's bloody beautiful. Oh my god. I've still got my Prado. It's for sale. But my god, this is a nice drive. I'm loving this thing, and I've taken it off road. I'm going to show you some video right here. Have a look at this. So that was there's a bit of a creek crossing there that's going in, and I'm using the slippery mode, one of the electronic modes and stuff, in the Everest Tremor, and get it bogged. Back wheels it down. Caravan's in the water. It's pretty good deep water, pretty muddy. Stick it into mud rut mode and just see how this pulls out. Now, I've been through here with the same caravan with my Prado, I don't know, a dozen times, I suppose. We've got some friends that camp out here, and Prado pulls it through. I've never been stuck, to be honest, in the Prado, never once, and I've actually pulled a few people out with a winch and what have you. So it's not as easy as it looks through there. So this was a good test to actually stop in the creek, in the mud, and then haul my caravan out. So I've stuck it into mud haul mode, and it kind of just drove out and said, well, what's the issue? It just kept going. So very impressive. Clearly got to do a few things, snorkel, armour, a couple of other bits like that. But it's it's looking good. So I've got it booked into ARB for the underbody armour, snorkel. It's a must. And I'm also getting a long range fuel tank in it, so it's good on gas. Like, I'm getting 8 or 9 litres when I'm not towing, probably about 12, 13 when I am. So that's pretty good, but I feel like I'm going to a bloody put diesel in it every 5 minutes, because they're going to get an 8 litre tank or something in them. So I'm going to get the ARB 120 litre one, so we'll put that in. So you'll see that shortly. I'll show you that after that's been done. So what do I like about this thing? Why did I get this one? Well, it's V6. The Toyota equivalent was the 4 litre. That was a must for me. This thing is powerful, and it really runs well. It's not far off the same sort of fuel efficiency. Soon after I got this, actually, before I ordered it, then the new Prado turned up, and it's just getting some really bad reviews, and I don't know what Toyota are doing. They've stuffed the back of it up, and anyway, I'm not going to go into that, but I was not very happy with the new Prado, so I've gone with this fella here, luckily, and I'm very, very happy with it. So what do I like about it? There's some really funny things I like about it. Other than all the drive modes and the comfort's just, oh my god, Ellie falls asleep every 2 minutes in this car. It's ridiculous. It's so damn comfortable to drive. But it's really, really well appointed, and there's a couple of nice little things that are just show me something. One big thing is there's a USB right there on the mirror, so you can have your dash cam right there, no cables hanging down. And to me, that says whoever designed this has thought this through. You got your sunglass holder. I'll just mention as well, Prado doesn't even have a sunglass holder in it, which is interesting. The leather seats. I've gone with the whole heated, chilled seats thing. All the options, so it's really comfortable. But check this little weird thing out as well. Now, you have to excuse the mess a bit here. I've cut the old rubber mat out of my Prado and just thrown it in here at the moment. But this is just something that, I was talking a second ago about the USB on the mirror and the way that things are thought through. Look at this here. I'll just throw all this back here, and I'll just go with that mat throw back. This is a little cover that's got the all the jack and what have you under there. I've got the jack all out and not in its pack at the moment, so excuse the mess because I'm actually doing some work by dropping the wheel down. But what I found is that when you plug this here into here, this is going through a bit to show you this, and then you wind this guy around, okay? Now you can make that longer and have it right up here and wind around, that's fine. But if you don't, you can still wind this around, but Ford have even built in the little bit here to make sure that can go around. They've thought of just the silliest little things that make the difference so that it won't, rub on the carpet and what have you. Just, I don't know. I know it's pretty pointless and meaningless, but It's just showing me how well built this thing is and what they've really thought about, you know. It's just, yeah, it's really good. I'm quite impressed. Now, I've also gone and bought one of these TLR or TDR brackets for the back here and mounted this on the back. Just excuse this wiring, there's a bit of a story here. But these brackets are fantastic. Pain in the ass to put on. Well, it goes on easy, but it's a bit of a puzzle to work it out. You know, I've got my Anderson here. I've got my crappy old trailer plug there. I've got normally got my camera cable one there. Geez, I had to stop that video for a second there. It's a massive sneeze. Now, you notice I've got another camera one here. The plug that I got from Safety Dave, this new plug here, is faulty. And it's taken me a long time to work it out. And the way I've really got to it in the end was I've just jimmied the plug at the moment off the Prado and put it on here, and that's proved to me that everything works, all my wiring works, everything's working in the Ford. This is for the rear view camera, except that plug there doesn't work, so it's faulty. So I'm just waiting for Safety Dave to change that over for me, and then I'll tidy all this up again. So for those interested in, I'm in towing mode in the Everest Tremor. Showing my brake gain and all the other bits and pieces. That's all good. Tow haul motor, I should say. I've actually wired up the camera to the I've got a Safety Dave camera. It's at the back of my caravan, which is on the back. You'll see there's a caravan at the back there, and I've wired up the camera. So a lot of people are arguing, you know, do you have it up on the mirror? Do you have it down here? Do you have it down? Where do you have it? I'm not minding it there. I used to have a mirror one before. I'm finding it's one button push. So that push there, I've got my map back again. Well, it came back a second ago. If I was looking at my map, there's my map. And one button push and you're back to your camera. So you seem to be able to just switch back and forth with one button push. I'm okay with that. It'd be nice to have the two on the screen at the same time if you're driving around, but that's okay. So that works pretty well for me. Resolution's okay, not too bad. Camera disappears when I take off. Hit the camera button again, and then you can see that's working quite nicely. So no, pretty happy with that. Stays on above, you know, at driving speeds as well, so that's good. There's some questions around whether it cuts off at 30 k's or not, but that seems to work fine. You've got all your other cameras. You notice that when you put your left-hand indicator on, you get a view down the left side. When you put your right-hand indicator on, you get a view down the right-hand side, which is really great when your trailer's on. So the Safety Dave wiring was pretty straightforward. It turns out I just had a faulty brand new Safety Dave plug. It just took me forever to work it out. The Ford Sparky couldn't work it out. It just was a bloody nightmare. So I had to trace the camera through, but get it worked out. The wiring's straightforward. It's actually I've just got it in my glove box here. Let me show you. Hang on, I've realised my glove box. It's just down the back of that corner of the glove box. So it's normally is right down there in the footwell, but I've just extended it up in the glove box because the glove box is literally a 2-minute job to get out and do the wiring. Wiring's all labelled. You only need 3 of the 4 wires. The white audio for the Safety Dave camera. I don't have audio on my camera and I don't need it, so that's good. So I just chucked the car and parked. That's why that changed. So yeah, that's all going. Pretty happy with that. Yeah, well done, awesome. I'm going to put my air on here eventually. At the moment, I've just got the breakaway on there, but I'll put the air on there. I'll possibly put airbags in. I have noticed that it does sit down a little low in the shocks with the trailer on. Actually, let me give you a quick view of that. Let's just go out here. Just sits down a little bit in the back, I think, with that trailer. And it's not a big, heavy trailer, so by the time you put a 3.5 tonner on, or a bit of weight in the back, she's going to sit pretty low, I think. So might be just a case for airbags, I'm thinking, for there. In terms of space, comfort, aircon, the whole rest of it, oh my God, this thing's just a damn luxury. It's just fantastic. It's really well appointed. It's like driving a bloody limo. And it goes really well. So I can put these seats down. I'm tending to, my view is, I'm not a big ute person, and I'm not that keen on canopies and all the rest of it. I'd rather have an SUV with a bit of removable sort of stuff in it and what have you. My view is I'll probably take out the extra seats that are under here. Those will fold down optional, but generally I'll have them up so I can take passengers. And in here I'm just going to really put a fridge, and underneath I'll put a compressor. I'll probably put a lithium or dual underbonnet lithiums in the front, run the power back to this lot here. That's the lithiums with the reserve crank charge and all in the front. So it makes it nice and easily removable. I'll build my own little false floor in here and carpet it out. Done a lot of the work myself so far. I've wired up the Anderson at the front there. I'll put a little video in a second on how to do that. And I've built a relay into the front as well, so that all just, it cuts off when the car's not running. It's not flattening the battery from the caravan to the car. Yeah, so it's all pretty good, getting there. All right, just a short video on setting up caravan wiring and cameras for the Everest Tremor specifically, not the Everest Sport. You'd think it's all the same, but I'm going to go through some little differences here that I've found. So I've put the TLR bar on here, which is pretty good. It's really nice and solid. I've got my camera here, got my 20 pin there, my Anderson, and it's going to be an air outlet for doing the tyres and stuff when I put the compressor in. So the trick was had to pull the spare wheel out. So lifting up this flap, you've got everything under here. You can pop this thing out, and then you can wind it down, and your spare wheel drops. Take your spare wheel out, put the car up on ramps, and you can actually sit under there and work on the wiring. So that's pretty cool. I've run all the wiring. I've run a conduit up above the spare wheel. So pretty much, if I follow it, goes here, goes around the spare wheel, and then it crosses over to the driver's side and underneath, because I'm actually trying to stay away from all heat and moving sources and stuff. So I won't spend too much time on that. But up the front here, it pops up down there. You can see the conduit. I've got it coming down through here. I'll tie all this back eventually. There's a bit of frame here. This is good to know, that you'll notice that actually disappears inside that frame. That frame runs across the top of the radiator, or where the radiator goes. It's a bit of chassis frame, and you can actually push your cable through, and it will pop out just here. So, which is quite a good way to get the cable right across the car. Sure, you could bring it up this side of the car, but look, too much exhaust, too much moving and what have you, so I've done it the other way around. So it's a little bit more cable, but it's a better job. And then here I've got my ignition relay, about to wire all that in, but I've got the wrong size bloody fuse tap. They're just supposed to be little minis in the fuse box here, so we'll get that sorted. Now, camera. I've also run the Safety Dave camera from the plug at the back. That's come up through that Anderson as well. There it is there. And I've got my little plug, but I've got to find a place in the firewall to put it through. So firstly, this is the thing about the Tremor. I'm looking at where you can pop that through. I was told, and the internet tells me, I should say, that on the passenger side, there's all the canned stuff there. On the passenger side, you should have a cable clearly labelled. Well, there's no cable there for the camera to the external to wire into the the screen at the front here. So yeah, look, I love this car. I can't rave enough about it, and I can't say how happy I am that I did actually make the change from the Prado. Oh, the Prado 150 is great, but the new Prado, I'm a little, I don't know. I'm pretty happy that I went with the Ford Everest Tremor, to be honest. But there's been a couple of weird things that I'm not too cool with in this car. One is, they're funny little things, like I don't like having the bonnet opener on the passenger side. Just some weird little things like that. And also, some of the alerts, you get some alerts on the screen, like, I haven't had too much of a problem, but a lot of people are moaning about, it comes up and warns you to put your hands back on the steering wheel, and, you've got the lane control and all that. A little tip for those that do get the Tremor: turn your lane keeping off when you're towing. That makes a big difference. Stop it waving. We did have a little bit of wobble in the caravan. Never had that with the Prado. The Prado was upgraded, not certified, but it had all the shocks and all that upgraded for towing, so it was quite a bit of a different machine. But we never ever had that problem towing. So we towed the caravan, had a bit of a death wobble in it, which was a bit of a concern. But I did have a longer drawbar on that I just took off the Prado. I was lazy when I got it, just plugged it straight in. But now I've put the shorter one on. I've got the caravan on. It seems to be going pretty good. But also we did tow that particular time. When you saw me going through the creek earlier, actually had 200 kilos of water on there as well. So that was a heavy van and load. And that we had a bit of a wobble with that. Once we'd camped for a while, we'd used all that water. We pretty much went all the way home, same route. with no water, and we had no wobbles at all. So yeah, it's a bit of a weight thing there. And the tanks, for those interested, the tanks are over the centre axle, over the on the caravan. They're not at the back or anything strange like that. So haven't heard that before. I think maybe the Everest or the Tremor is a little higher than the Prado, and with that longer drawbar, which is a bit silly probably to leave that on, to be fair. I've taken it off now, so it'd be interesting to take this for another tow with the water tanks in it on the highway and see how we go. But it wasn't that major, to be honest. But it was noticeable, if that makes sense. What else has annoyed me about this thing? Actually, I'm looking around the car trying to find things, and I'm not finding things that annoy me. I'm that guy that will find those things too, by the way, the stupid little things that are frustrating. It seems to be pretty good. I'm pretty happy with everything. Runs like all the little modes, like the slippery mode, the tow haul mode, and it's got rock crawl mode. I gave that a bit of a blast. That's pretty cool. I'm quite keen to try that seriously off road and see how it goes. On that note, there's a real change happening with four-wheel driving, in my opinion. This is my opinion. You know, in the old days, we used to have four-wheel drives, and you'd always have a manual. You'd never drive an auto for a four-wheel drive. You don't do it. Don't buy one, you know. That's changed, obviously, now. Now it's the other way around, actually. You'd buy an auto, and you probably wouldn't go with a manual because of the extra control you have and what have you. There's another change going on, in my opinion, at the moment with four-wheel driving, and that's about, in New Zealand, we used to call it wheel articulation. In Australia, here, you call it flex and suspension. Now, the game was always like, keep your four wheels on the ground, right? It's going to give you the most traction. Four wheels on the ground, you can't argue, you got better traction. Now with all these electronic non-slip deals going on, it doesn't matter. If you don't have as much articulation or as much flex, and you've got one wheel up in the air, it doesn't really matter. The computer's controlling the other three wheels better than a human could have controlled the four, if that makes sense. So you can have a wheel up in the air and still no slip, and she just goes through. And so that's pretty cool. I mean, you couldn't argue against, obviously, having computer controlled and having the wheel articulation, but none of these vehicles are doing that. So there seems to be a change going on. So I think that the focus is coming a little bit off suspension from a full driving point of view and more towards the non-slip computer side of it. Although suspension obviously has an effect on comfort, you know, so you can now probably have different shocks and have a bit of comfort and be good off-road. And that's one of the good things I think about the Tremor. They've got these kind of situation sensing shocks, basically, with the dual canister on it, where they can actually, they're very comfortable on the road when you're not towing. And then when you got a load on the back, it basically senses the extra load and works completely differently. So you still maintain your comfort, but it's handling the heavy load. So that's, that's stuff that's changing. This technology is really changing. And now I'm finding that's probably a big difference between maybe Toyota and Ford, or Toyota and the others, we'll call it, is that Toyota tend to be holding that technology back and charging you more for it, right? You're paying more for the Toyota tax, you are paying more for Toyota, but the technology is getting held back for reliability. They're not venturing into a lot of this new tech stuff because it's, risky. Whereas a lot of the other manufacturers, well, certainly here with the Tremor, it's absolutely overloaded with technology. It's fantastic. And I'm a tech guy, by the way, so I like the tech. But there's a lot of tech in here that does work. But this car is 20 grand cheaper. So I'm getting a lot more for less. And to me, providing it's reliable, right? You don't want it all breaking down every 5 minutes. And my experience, this is fantastic. I'm not finding that problem. So, and I did have trouble with my my Toyota, the 1KD, 200,000 Ks and it blows up. You don't want to have to be buying a new engine every 200,000 Ks, to be fair. Not that Ford does not have their problems. They did have big problems with their autos, and I think there's a class action over that, and there's a class action over the 1KD as well. But so, look, the bottom line is they all have their problems. And I'm just pretty happy now, I think, with what I've seen with the new 250 Prado come out, and I think with Toyota pushing their prices up, holding a lot of tech back. They put some new tech as well in, to be honest, but they are holding the stuff back when you compare it. You go for a drive in one of these Ford Everest, go for a drive in a Ford Everest Sport or a Tremor, and you'll be, and then go for a drive in a Prado, and I think you'll see what I mean. You really will. If you drive both of them, to give it a fair shot, drive both of them, then make your decision. And to me, it was like, my God, hands down, I need to really look at what I'm doing. And that pushed me towards the Ford. So happy with that. I'm going to put a bit of a plug in, actually, for my dealer. And I'm going to be straight up. I can't stand car dealers. I can't stand car salesmen who can. I don't know, they're right up there with, real estate salespeople and lawyers and all that, you know what I mean? But I bought this thing through Nova Ford. This is, unsponsored. They don't even know I'm doing this. Nova Ford in Caboolture, and the guys down there were great. I was hounding them about when's it coming in and what boat's it on, and I was that annoying customer that wanted it tomorrow. Every time I went in there, print it off. This is where it's at. This is all we know. This is what we've got. Hope that helps you out. Couldn't be nicer. Couldn't be nicer. I was wiring the reverse camera myself. A lot of people just get people to do it, but I tend to do this stuff myself. I was wiring the reverse camera in, having some troubles, couldn't work it out. Wiring it as per spec and all this, still wouldn't work it out. As I mentioned earlier, it turned out to be the plug on the back of the safety dove plug that I got, a new one. It was the problem. But anyway, we couldn't work it out. So no problems at all, drove down Ford. They drove me around to their local auto sparky who does all their wiring. He couldn't really help, to be honest. He just puts in plug and play Polaris stuff, and he could tell there was something wrong, but as far as he's concerned, I'd wired it right, and all the rest of it. So not a great deal of help. But to be honest, they helped out. It was free. They took me around. It was not too much trouble for them. They gave it a shot, and that's what that deal has been to me. They've been really good. So would I buy another car for them? Hey, look, I've only just bought the car. Haven't had to take it back with any issues yet, to be fair. And that's where you really get to test out a dealer. But right now, yeah, I'd go back there. They were good. So there's a little plug for Nova Ford and Caboolture. I thought they were really good. Okay, favourite things about the Everest Tremor. So this is a 2025. Favourite things. Oh, I love the drive modes. I think they're pretty cool. I like tech and stuff. I'm finding that between eco and normal, not a lot of difference in terms of fuel economy. I'm getting 8.8 or 9 litres or something. Doesn't matter how I'm driving too much. It's pretty consistent. I'm not that finicky anyway on it. Love the V6. Oh my God. And the auto is so damn smooth, it's stupid. Ellie's loving the cooled seat. She overheats all the time in the bloody cars, so she's, the auto start, you come out of Bunnings and you got the app and it's bloody hot there, and you put your car on, you come out and there's max aircon going, you get in and the car's all cold. Oh, God's sake. It's just, there's a list of stuff that are my favourites. I can't put my finger on it. Feature I'm probably using the most when I'm driving, I'm actually using the adaptive cruise a lot. Didn't think I would, but when you got that traffic on the motorway, stop-start, fantastic. This thing just pulls up nice and quiet behind it, and you can alter your distance and all that. Look, this is probably old news to a lot of people because a lot of cars have that functionality now, but my Prado 150 from 2013 didn't have all that stuff in it. Had cruise control, but the adaptive, the lane keeping, the distance measurement is fantastic. The other feature I'm really enjoying, I go through a lot of areas that have school zones and just variable speed limits all the time. Well, you can probably get that all around Australia, to be fair. But the lim button, so it's a speed limiter basically. So basically, when I push that and I'm driving around, this car's looking at road signs, speed signs, and it sees a 60k speed sign. I can put my foot flat to the floor; it won't go over 60k's, and it'll speed up when it sees an 80k sign. It'll slow down when it sees a 40. Just bloody great. So you get those sort of areas that are all over the place with speed, and you can just make sure that you're not speeding by hitting that button, click it off again, go back into your adaptive cruise, and away you go. I think that's a really cool feature. You can tune that, and you can go, well, okay, if you see a 60k sign, I'll let it go up to 65, or only down to 55, or you can adjust whatever variance you like on it. But I'm finding that's a really good feature. The cameras are great. That's another really cool thing. I'm loving that. Again, a lot of these features are probably in most cars, to be fair, but coming from an older Toyota Prado, I think it's pretty cool. It's cool stuff. A couple of other weird things. I noticed that, I think when I was first looking at this car, I was looking at the Everest Sport. It had a feature where, it parks itself. You pull up, it finds a car park, it backs itself in there and all that. Look, I don't have any problem backing into a car park, but I just think the tech's cool, so I was quite cool to have a play with some of that. Turns out, Ford can take some of this functionality away, so that's not in this car now. There's a button there for doing it, but now what it does is it finds the nearest parking on the map rather than reverses the car in, sort of thing. So they took that functionality out. I don't think that it's in a lot of their cars now, actually. The other one was I've got the auto boot opening at the back. That's quite cool. I love that. But they used to have the functionality in the Sport. I think it was one of the models of Sport where you could wave your foot under it. It would do it, And I thought, yeah, probably wouldn't use it a lot, but probably quite handy. And it's been a couple of times carrying a couple of boxes of beer over the back of the car. It would have been nice to have had that. But, so they've taken that out. I haven't tried this yet, but it's got this function where you can put in the size of your caravan and all the rest of it, and you can just use a knob and reverse the caravan into a spot. It does all the steering for you. Again, I don't have a problem backing a caravan. I never have had, but it would be quite cool because it makes all the sensors work and all that, so you don't back into trees. And I have actually backed my caravan into a post before, a little short post that I couldn't see. So it would be good to try all that sort of stuff out. Haven't got there yet. You've got to take it for a drive. You got to put a little sticker on your drawbar so the radar can see it, and you got to take it for a drive and do a bit of tuning and stuff. So I just haven't got around to doing that stuff yet. Good little car. Off-road, comfortable, very comfy. I haven't done serious off-road yet. I've sort of just done that, that creek crossing stuff. There's quite a bit of off-road and mud through there, and it just performed beautifully. I was really happy. Obviously, being a new sort of, roughly $90,000 car, I'm not going to go and do any rock climbing in it tomorrow. But I am going to take it for a bit of a try because I really want to try this thing out. I want to know where it sits with my old Prado 150. So far from what I've seen, I'm pretty confident it's going to be close, which for a car of this level of comfort, I think it's pretty impressive. It comes out with 265 tyres on. There was a bit of advertising at the start and rumours going around it was going to be 285s. I think I probably would pop some 285s on this. I want that little bit more clearance. I might be able to drop a bit more tyre on it. It comes with 17-inch rims, so there's quite a bit of room to move. I think the Tremor's only got the 17-inch option. It doesn't have the 20 like the 2021s or whatever they are on the Sport. So that's good for off-roading anyway, that lower wheel size. So I'm looking forward to trying it off-road to see how it goes. A few people probably have already. Anyway, look, pop your comments below. See what you think of it. My pro tip for the whole thing, take a Prado for a drive, a 250, and take an Everest or take an Everest Tremor or an Everest Platinum for a drive or Sport. Take one for a drive. Compare it yourself to the Prado. And I'm just going to pop up a little chart. There's some key differences sort of off-road here that you can see between the Prado and the Everest. So if you're a bit more of an off-roady kind of person, not a supermarket person, then these are probably things that will interest you of the differences between the two. I'm not trying to sell one over the other, to be honest. A lot of people will buy the Prado just because they like the retro look, and the Prado does have a good history and all the rest of it. Personally, I love the Prado 150. Man, Toyota had a machine there. They really had a machine there. But I think they've lost it now with the 250. I don't know what they're doing, to be honest. And I've just been impressed with this, the quality of this Tremor. So that's my owner's review of the Tremor. So you'll know that this was episode 50. We've actually got 49 other episodes of us travelling around with our Prado, doing a bit of off-road stuff and camping in some locations around Queensland and Northern Territory. So jump on, have a look at some of those episodes and subscribe. We're going to do some more travelling. So at some point, so the more subscribers, the better it is, and you'll look. We don't put a post. We don't put a video up every week or anything like that. But if you subscribe when we do put one up, you'll get to see it. It'll pop up on YouTube and what have you, so you'll know it's there anyway. You watch it at your leisure. So hit the subscribe button or the like. Chuck any comments. Put your thoughts down below. I'm more than happy to have a conversation about any of the thoughts, or let you know if you want to have more of a look through the car or whatever. I'm happy to talk about any of the points. So help answer any questions. Okay. Thanks very much for watching.